The old city breathed differently. Alexandria, coastal, bright, humming with modernity, hid its darkness under neon lights and crashing waves. Tourists came for the cafes and ruins, but beneath the marble streets and seaside promenades, an older truth lingered. The Black Library had no address, no tourist pamphlet. It was not marked on any map. Yet Layla found it, just as Idris said she would, through whispered names and blood-drawn sigils. Beneath the ruins of a forgotten Roman bathhouse, she descended into silence. The air was cold and natural. Even the dust felt ancient. Rows of stone shelves stretched into the dark, lined with brittle scrolls, skin-bound volumes, and strange tablets that shimmered faintly in the candlelight. And at the center of the room, behind a rusted iron grate, sat a man with silver eyes and ink-stained hands. He did not speak. He simply stared at her, long, slow, and then smiled. "I've been expecting you, child of the sand." Layla stepped forward, her fingers tightening around the amulet at her neck. "You know what's happening." The scribe nodded, one hand resting atop a black-bound tome carved with jackal heads. "They're trying to bring him back," he said. "Wepwawet. Not just as spirit, but as flesh." Layla felt a cold lance down her spine. "That's impossible," the scribe chuckled. "Not for the bloodline, not when the moon bleeds and the gates are thin." He opened the book slowly. "There's a cult here. Old blood, hidden for generations. They believe Wepwawet was betrayed by the moonjackals, that his true form, his divine wrath, was stolen by the pharaoh's priests." He pointed to an illustration, half-faded, of a towering wolf-headed god, fangs bared, eyes weeping fire. They want to finish what he started. They believe only through total war can Egypt be purified again. Layla leaned in. "Where?" The scribe turned the page. "They call it the Temple of Breathless Stone, hidden in the catacombs beneath Kam el-Dika. You'll need more than blades, Layla. You'll need control." "I don't want control," she growled. "I want to end this." The scribe looked at her, long and slow, and whispered, "Be careful, moonjackal. Vengeance is a path that always ends with blood in your mouth." The entrance was hidden behind a collapsed theater wall, long buried beneath Kam el-Dika. What had once been a cultural hub of ancient Alexandria was now a crater of shattered stone and secrets no archaeologist dared name. Layla, Idris, and two new descendants, Amira and Yusef, descended into the pit in silence. Each had tasted the change under the red moon. Each bore the mark of Wepwawet's lineage in their blood, but none had been here before. The deeper they went, the colder it became, not the chill of air, but of something older, something watching. The tunnels narrowed, winding into strange geometric shapes that made no architectural sense. The walls pulsed slightly beneath their torches, carved with images not of gods but of teeth, claws, and torn bodies being offered to the moon. Yusef touched one of the carvings. "This isn't a tomb." "No," Amira said, voice trembling. "It's a womb." Then they heard it, chanting, low, repetitive, words in no known language. Layla raised a hand, signaling silence. They crept forward, weapons drawn, and found the temple. It was vast, a circular cathedral carved into the stone itself. Black pillars rose like bones from the floor, and in the center stood an altar of writhing jackal heads, cast in obsidian. Pools of dried blood glistened beneath flickering torches. Around the altar knelt 7 robed figures, their faces hidden. At their center, leading the chant, was a woman, tall, regal, wrapped in midnight blue. Her arms were painted with silver jackal runes, her eyes glowing faintly violet. She turned as Layla stepped forward and smiled. "I knew the blood would bring you," she said. "You wear it well." Layla gritted her teeth. "You desecrate." "Wepwawet's name," the woman tilted her head. "No, I speak his true tongue, the one you forgot." Behind her, something stirred. From the shadows emerged a creature, 9 feet tall, hunched, its body twitching as if unsure whether it was man, wolf, or something far worse. Its skin was torn where new bone grew through, and its face, half muzzled, half human, dripped with dark fluid. Its eyes were pure moonlight. "You forced his awakening," Idris whispered, backing up. "He's not ready. That body, it's not whole." The cult leader laughed. "Then let's finish it." She raised her arms, and the chanting turned to screams. The beast lunged. It struck with unnatural speed, slamming into Youssef and throwing him across the room like a broken toy. His scream was short, final. Amira shifted instantly, leaping toward the beast in a blur of silver fur. Claws clashed, blood sprayed the altar. The cultists shrieked and scattered. Layla didn't move. She watched the creature, felt the tremor in her bones, and she understood. This wasn't a summoning, it was a birth. The cult wasn't awakening Wepwawet. They were building him, one piece at a time. "From us, Idris," she shouted, drawing the moonsteel blade. "We kill it before it becomes whole." They charged, Layla and Idris, beast and blade. The cult leader vanished into shadow, her laughter echoing through the stone like a curse. Amira screamed behind them, her ribs crushed under the monster's weight. Blood, bone, fire. The temple collapsed into chaos. And still, the creature grew, stronger. Layla slashed its chest, revealing not flesh but scripture. Ancient prayers burned into its muscle. It was not just a beast, it was a gospel. And they were running out of time. The creature bled moonlight. Where its wounds opened, silver light poured out like fire. Not warm, not holy. Something wrong, a purity so absolute it burned. Layla's blade hissed as the glow touched its edge, the moonsteel vibrating in her hands. Idris was knocked back, his shoulder a mangled ruin. Amira crawled, barely conscious, blood pooling beneath her. The temple shuddered, pillars cracked. The altar pulsed, alive. Layla circled the creature, mind racing. It wasn't just feeding on flesh, it was absorbing them. Every descendant it killed added to its mass, its divine identity. The cult was using them as scripture, their bones, their pain, their souls, to rebuild Wepwawet's true body, and it was nearly complete. The creature turned to her, its half-formed snout twitching. It spoke, not with words, but with remembrance. Flood of memories slammed into her mind. The first moon jackals drinking from the black pool beneath the desert. Wepwawet rising from Anubis's shadow, not as a guide, but as a conqueror. The pharaoh's betrayal, binding the god in pieces, scattered across bloodlines. And the secret truth, the descendants were not guardians, they were locks, and Layla was the last key. Her heart stopped. The cult hadn't brought her here to kill the beast, they brought her to complete it. "Layla," Idris's voice broke the trance. He tossed her a vial, thick liquid sloshing inside. "The binding elixir, use it." But even as her fingers closed around it, she knew it wouldn't be enough. Not now. The cult leader stepped from the shadows again, smiling, unscathed. Her eyes gleamed violet. "You can't stop what's already inside you," she whispered. "Let him in. Let him finish what was begun in Siwa." Layla stared down at her shaking hands. She could feel the shift now, not the surface transformation, but the deep one. Something under her skin was waking, something vast. She closed her eyes and walked toward the beast. Idris shouted. Mira screamed. Layla touched the creature's chest, and the visions consumed her. She saw every life she'd ever lived. Jackal guard in ancient Memphis, temple thief turned protector, battle-scarred monk on a crusade to cleanse cursed tombs. Reincarnations of duty, each of them carrying a piece of the god, a shard of the cage. Now she was the last. The god's voice echoed in her mind, not savage but commanding, beautiful, terrible. "Open the way." Layla's eyes snapped open, and she refused. With a howl of rage, she drove the moonsteel blade, not into the creature, but into herself, straight into her heart. The god's scream filled the chamber, rattling bone and stone alike. The creature staggered back, its form unraveling. Flesh sloughed from bone. Light turned to ash. The temple cracked apart and collapsed. When the dust cleared, there was nothing left but ruin. The altar had crumbled. The cult had fled. The beast was gone, and in the center of the rubble, Layla lay still until her eyes opened. Silver, brighter than before, but no longer glowing with madness. With will, Idris approached slowly, bloodied but alive. "You killed him?" Layla shook her head, sitting up. "No, I became the cage." Amira limped to her side, whispering, "So what now?" Layla looked toward the ceiling where moonlight poured through the broken stone. "The cult's not done. They'll keep trying, but now they'll have to go through me." She stood, scarred, changed, but not broken. She had become something new, not God, not beast, but judgment. If you enjoyed this story and want more chilling legends and terrifying tales, make sure to like this video. It really helps us out. You can also click on our Ultimate Werewolf playlist to watch more horror and cryptid stories. The link is in the description below. And if you love horror, folklore, and unexplained mysteries, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community of fear seekers. But don't stop there. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you never miss a new story. Because in the world of horror, the scariest things happen when you least expect them. And trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. Welcome to the darkness.